the royal family has lived by one rule for decades: never complain, never explain. When the press attacks, they say nothing. When scandal erupts, they say nothing. It's a strategy that has protected monarchs, preserved legacies, and confused the public for generations. But in a world obsessed with transparency and instant reactions, can silence still be a strength? The phrase is often credited to British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, but it became doctrine under Queen Elizabeth II. Her reign was defined by emotional restraint, duty over drama, and an almost pathological resistance to personal commentary. In many ways, it worked. The Queen remained untouchable, even adored, despite major family scandals. Why? Because by saying nothing, she gave the public nothing to tear apart. In psychology, silence is a powerful form of impression management. It projects composure, control, and mystery. It avoids the trap of overexposure. It prevents contradictions. It allows people to project their own meanings onto your actions. The royal family has weaponized this, especially in times of crisis. Where most public figures rush to defend themselves, the royals have leaned on nonverbal communication, symbolism, and timing. The result? A brand that feels above the chaos, even when they're the cause of it. Never complain, never explain works best when the institution is trying to project strength. It worked during the early Diana drama. It worked through affairs, divorces, and royal feuds. Why? Because silence doesn't leave fingerprints. It creates an illusion of unity, stability, and moral superiority, whether it's true or not. The less you say, the fewer contradictions to weaponize. In a way, it's an emotional form of crisis management by detachment. But silence is a double-edged sword. When Diana died, the Queen's refusal to speak publicly almost shattered her image. The press and the public turned on her. It was one of the only times she broke protocol and gave a public address. Why? Because the absence of explanation can look like indifference. And in modern culture, silence is often equated with guilt or complicity. This was the royal family's biggest vulnerability, and Harry and Meghan knew it. In contrast, Meghan and Harry's brand is built on saying everything. Oprah, Netflix, Spare, podcasts. They are the antithesis of never complain, never explain. But here's the twist. The more they talked, the less the public trusted them. Why? Because overexposure erodes mystique. Constant narrative shifts raise questions. They tried to win the PR war with transparency, but transparency without consistency often backfires. Today, silence is more dangerous than ever. Social media demands instant response. People expect real-time accountability. When Prince Andrew's scandal broke, the palace said almost nothing. The silence was deafening. It made the monarchy feel out of touch, like they were hiding. And yet, even then, they didn't explain. Instead, they quietly removed titles, reassigned roles, and let the public outrage burn itself out. It was cold, calculated, but effective. So why does never complain, never explain still persist? Because it preserves the image of royalty, even when the people behind it are flawed. It's not about truth, it's about protecting the brand. In behavioral terms, it's a form of emotional boundary setting at scale. Royals don't explain because explanation would mean entering the conversation, and once you enter the conversation, you lose control of it. Silence may feel cold, but it's also stable. Never complain, never explain isn't about arrogance. It's about control. It's about surviving scandal by starving the fire of oxygen. And in an era of oversharing, it might be one of the last tools the monarchy has left to preserve its relevance. It won't win them love, but it might keep them in power. Because when everything else is falling apart, saying nothing still says a lot. What do you think? Is silence strength or cowardice? Is the royal family protecting tradition or hiding from responsibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you have unpopular opinions. And if you want more psychological deep dives into media, monarchy, and image strategy, hit like, subscribe, and stick around. Because sometimes the loudest message is the one that's never said.